Hello, everybody. I'm late on this review, but let's get started. So, New Girl in Town, a Ninja Turtle episode, came out probably 10 years ago or 9 years ago. It's our first appearance of Karai. If you don't know who Karai is, she's basically like a Catwoman to Leonardo. Like, they have this rivalry in this show until eventually, spoilers, Karai eventually learns her true self, and she finds out who the real father is. I'm going to keep it that vague, but her story is really well written in this show. I definitely want to talk about it for sure. So, the episode starts with the turtles chasing Snakeweed. He has returned, and they end up losing him, and it leads to a fight between Leo and Raph, and then Mikey tries to break it up, and he says he'll lead, and I love it where Leo and Raph turn to flames as Mikey says that, because Mikey would probably be a terrible leader. Not probably because he makes a lot of jokes, and I don't know, he's not the most responsible out of all the four turtles. But then Raph just storms off. It's Leo who storms off. He feels like he's tired of taking orders and he's trying to give orders to the turtles, but he feels like they don't respect him all that much, and so he's just like, hey Raph, how about you lead? And so later, that's where Leo runs into Karai, and Karai's very, she may seem nice, but she's just trying to clown with Leo, I guess. They do get into like a sword-like fight, and I don't know why, but I feel like when I watch them, I feel like I'm watching Batman and Catwoman, because like, Batman's like off and on with Catwoman, like they don't exactly hate each other, they kind of love each other, but Batman just knows Catwoman's a thief. But then Leo knows that Karai is just another henchman of Shredder, and even when she tells Shredder about him, they just, like, I think they like argue and stuff. But other than that, meanwhile, Leo tries to stay away from the brothers, but then he has a talk with Splinter after watching Space Heroes. I don't think I mentioned Space Heroes, by the way. It's the show the turtles like to watch. Like, every season they watch a different show. Basically, Leo sees, I think, Captain Ryan, who falls in love with a girl, but then she betrays him, and then he disintegrates her, and then I guess uses her boots as like a memory of her, I guess, I don't know. And Splinter then basically teaches Leonardo how it's not about how leaders are supposed to be responsible in leading a team, and not about what they want to gain from their teammates, basically. And then Leo decides to just leave and hang out with Karai, even after he talks with the turtles, even when he gets hit by blind powder or something. And then Mikey even thinks Leo's crying. But then later, meanwhile, Donnie found a location of snakeweed. And so Raph leads Mikey and Donnie, and they're hanging out in the sewer, and Mikey wonders where all the sewer water comes from, and then I guess Donnie secretly tells Mikey that it's human urine. Ugh. And Mikey's, I like the line where Mikey's just like, don't they know we're living down here? They don't. And so later, they find Snakeweed's lair, and they also found a pizza guy they were also trying to save from Snakeweed. And it looks like Snakeweed has his own lair, I guess. It looks like a lot has changed since we last saw him. And so the turtles do free a few people, but then they hide, but then Snakeweed is unleashed, and then he does take down Mikey, and then Mikey's knocked out, and Raph is just like, oh crap, I really screwed up. I'm not meant to be leader. And then meanwhile, Leo meets up with Karai, and Karai wants to have Leo steal a sword that's just, I think, like years old, but Leo's just like, no, that's just wrong. He even holds her hand, and it looks like they could be a couple, but then you realize they're kind of, you get the point. And so then later, Karai just betrays Leo, and then Raph gets up, and he somehow finds Leo, and apparently Snakeweed has been tracking Raph because he put these little dots on Raph. And so now it's up for Leo and Raph to take down Snakeweed. Karai does leave them behind, but she does give Leo her sword to free himself from Snakeweed, and she says sayonara. And then Leo and Raph freeze Snakeweed and shatter him. And it's revealed, of course, Snakeweed's alive. I thought Snakeweed would die, but no, he's alive. I think the only way to kill him is if you stab his heart or something, because his heart's beeping or something. And they get back to the lair, they reconcile, and Raph screams, "I'm sorry," it's funny. And then they try to bring back Mikey by just giving him pizza, and it works, of course. And so the episode kind of just ends. So this episode was a good episode for Leo's character, for sure. And I really like Karai. I like the actress who plays her, Kelly Hu, I think her name is. She was in Phineas and Ferb, and now Ninja Turtles. So yeah, I think she's a very good voice actress, and I think the story was overall interesting. We could see some character of Leo, like, development for sure. And if you later don't know, Karai is the daughter of Splinter, but then at the end, Splinter finds out that his daughter's alive, and that's the storyline. Sorry for the spoiler, but the show's like years old, so I think everyone's seen this show. So that's all. I probably give this episode. Why not an 8.5 out of 10? So thanks for watching, and Turtle Power.